Hello everyone, this is Suzanne, Glass Garden Beads. I'm going to show you some help tips for beading on a textile edge. And you're going to see coming out of Glass Garden Beads some what we call Batik Sleeve kits. And this particular one that I'm working on today is the Batik Bangle bracelet. And the bangle is actually a stainless steel cuff, and it slides into the sleeve. And this is what we're going to talk about today, is the sleeve. The textiles I use are, they're from batiks I do, and then I have them scanned and then printed into fabric. This fabric is a canvas linen, so it's a heavier fabric. I've edged it. They're very simple pieces, edged it with a blanket stitch. When you're doing this type of kit, the trouble spots or the challenges are the open area. And then I'm showing you also how to do a 3, or this is actually a 4 bead edge. And you do it front and back together as you go. That's part of the process I created. And then the picots we put on last. Okay, and this is reversible. So when you get your sleeves, one print will be on one side and another on another side. So today what I chose is I just want to show you how to start and do the edging. And I usually start here and I go around, and then to the open area I go both sides, come and then come back and continue the edging. So there's, so you have less stopping and starting. Okay, now this is the hard part right here, believe it or not. Once you get this done, you've got it made in the shade, girls and guys, whoever does this. All right, good wingspan of thread. I use, the kits have 6-pound Fireline. Here's my opening. And what I'm going to suggest, which I don't have available right now because I forgot to bring it, is put a little slip of cardstock in your opening. Then when you go to stitch, your chances of going through both sides is less. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Excuse me, I go left to right. So I'm going to put thread from the back to the front. I always work back to the front. Ouch. Yep, just like that. Pull it all the way through and then forget to stop it. All right, here we go. Back to front. Stop when you have about 2.5, 3 inches of tail. It just is enough to tie off at the end or weave in. You don't put, you don't have to knot it, just hold it. And now your thread is back to front. Now you're going to add 2 beads. We're going to station the first 2 beads. And again, back to front. Almost right next to where the thread was. Pull it, and your beads are going to stack. This is a brick stitch start, only you're starting with fabric, so you do the edging. All right, see how they're laying? We don't want them laying horizontal, we want them laying vertical, so they're like little tires. So I've got my thread down here. I'm going to go up through the second bead from the bottom to the top. Okay. All right, I'm going to get this thread out of here. I'm going to clip that right now. Unfortunately, with this fabric, it's a woven, so you've got some fringe sometimes. Okay, we're coming out of the second bead. We go back down through the first bead, and we're going to put the needle back to front. I haven't turned this fabric. The fabric is still staying stationary as when I started. Okay. Now I'm underneath the first bead and I'm going to come back up, so it's kind of like we do this twice. All right, now I'm going to go back through the second bead. Okay, back to front again, bring the needle to the fabric, back to front. I'm going to turn it this way so you see it. Back up. All right. These 2 beads are now stationed. Your tail is just hanging here, but it's not going to unravel. You've already gone back and forth. And we'll complete this tail when this will get tied off when we go around the whole edging, because that's what we're doing. We're going to bead one row of beads around the whole thing. What we're going to stop at in a little bit is to show you this opening. Okay, now we've started. We're going to add a bead. We always add a bead first, back to front in the fabric. I'm using my fingernail. I'm putting the needle in basically right below where I think the next bead's going to be. Okay, use my finger to kind of hold it, pick up a bead. Now if we didn't have to worry about this open end, we'd just keep going. We wouldn't have to, we'd go through both sides. Up, whoops, I got it caught. Pick up a bead. I'm right to the edge now, okay? There we go. Now, we know we need this open, so our very first bead, we put up our bead, we go, take our needle in between here, and we come up one side only. Not both, not through both fabrics, just one. There's our, just like before, we just kind of turn it at a right angle now. And there it is. We go up, and then that's our corner bead right there. That's the beginning of the edging here. Now I'm going to switch over quick because I've already done, it takes forever to show something. I'm already done. I did the same thing, started with 2 beads. Here's my connecting bead. I went on one edge all the way across. Now when you're doing this, I find it easier to then go to the side and add 2 beads on the edge, so we have kind of like a square edge, all right? Because when you're there and you're coming out by the last bead, you just are going to weave back in. This stabilizes this, and it's a big help. Okay, so you're going to go back. Get that tail out of the way. And we're going to come up. See, we're underneath that one edge. We're going to come up our very first bead of the opening. Okay? We do that. And now we're at that one bead that we're going to share. We are going to now take this and we're going to tuck in, we're going to add a bead. Got a bead. And I'm going to now put my needle down here. Not right behind this one, right behind the second one. And I'm going to show you why here in a minute. I'll get my hand out of the way here. Okay? So I'm not behind the first bead. This is the bead we're going to share. So I'm going to add a bead on the other side. There we go. And I'm going to come up. And what happened is we are now sharing, we share that very first bead. Okay, now we're going to turn this. We are now working on the other side, and we're going to add a bead, come up through the back side. So I'm going to kind of get this over, maneuver it over. Come up from the back side, right along the edge. And since you've got the one row of beads, it's actually, the second side is actually easier. Let's, as I said that, I got that buried a little bit there. Bring them up, bottom up. Okay, so keep going, put a bead on, bring your needle to the back side of the edge fabric. And you don't want to catch it. That's where the paper comes in. It keeps you from catching that other paper. Whoops, I stabbed myself. All right, bead in line, bring your needle up from the bottom. Okay, add a bead, back to front, up, whoops, bottom up. Put that over here. Okay, add a bead, back to front, there we go. We're almost done. Add a bead, okay, add another bead. You can see this is the bead we're going to share, so we just do one more bead, okay, up, oops, get that up there we go. All right, so we've got to the edge. Here's our bead we're sharing. So we're going to go down, just like you, instead of going to the back of the fabric, we're going to go down that bead. Okay, do you see that? We've got a little fabric here, which I'm kind of contemplating right now if I should have put in another bead. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, nope. When I'm equal on each side. So we're going to go down that bead, okay? And that's going to pull it together. There you go. We've got our two stabilizers here, and we've got our opening here. See that? Now, we started here, we did our edging, we did that. You can now decide what you want to do. Do you want to just continue on here? But here's our tail, so really I was thinking we were going to come back to that. So I think what I'm going to do, what I did on all my others, I wove through this. So what I did is I brought my thread back to here. So I went up. All I did was weave through the beads. Down. Because I don't start my actual edging until the whole piece has its first layer of bead edge, one bead edge, and those are our connecting beads. Those are how we stitch everything else onto it. So see how we're just going, I'm not going through any fabric, just the beads up and down, because all I wanted to do was get from this point to this point. Up, down my pointer bead, okay, up that corner, we don't want to miss anything, okay, and we're going to go down, and when our thread comes down, it's kind of like we still have to go through this a second time, so back to front, now we go through the fabric, now we go up the bead, and we are in position now to continue our edging all the way around. All right, this completes this, and I'm going to come back to you here. It shows you how to do a nice edge. Yes, we're going to be adding on to the top and bottom, but it's fine because now we've got our edge. Whatever we do here, we're going to do on the other side. So the next time you see this video, now I'm going to show you, once the edge is finished, we're going to go on to how do you do an edge two sides at the same time. Okay? Have a good day.